Hey everyone, I just wanted to take some time to go over week 7. This is the final week of the course. This week we will be focusing on trauma and grief. You'll see here that you're required to choose 3 articles, one from each of these categories. Um, You'll see here that there are a variety of different articles regarding a variety of different approaches to trauma and grief, as well as a lot of different kinds of trauma that you might see, all across the board. It's really, really important to understand the impact of trauma on an individual, as well as the impact that trauma treatment might have on you as a clinician as well. Um, so I'm hoping that you can find within these articles that it can give you a better understanding of practice with these individuals. Trauma is something that you will always see within your practice, no matter what population you work with, because it's something that occurs across all socioeconomic status, all cultures. So it's something that's really important to understand, and I'm sure that in some of your other courses you've gained a bit of an understanding of it, but this might give you a better idea of treatment and assessment. And then moving down further, you will have one required video here, and there are some required segments, as well as you will choose one video from the categories at the bottom. It doesn't look like my screen is going down the whole way. So essentially you will be watching 3 different videos. So I'm just hoping that this can give you just a better understanding. These are very focused on treatment for grief, again, which is also an issue that you'll see across all populations. And it's a very sensitive and emotional topic. So it's just, again, important to understand and pay attention to yourselves within treatment as well. I know we talk a lot about the impact of yourself on treatment, as well as countertransference issues. When we talk about grief and trauma, you also want to pay attention to the risk of vicarious trauma, compassion fatigue. These are very emotional topics, and it can take a very large toll on you as a clinician. So these are the patients, the clients that you really want to focus on yourself and how you feel, and make sure that you are seeking appropriate supervision and accessing appropriate self-care. So for your first discussion this week, it will be on the common case. You will look at the case of Anita. This is the same case that you focused on in week 2. But for this discussion, you're going to be focusing more on how you might apply your knowledge of trauma. So you're going to provide an assessment and discuss the interventions that you might use with this client. So basically, it's a case conceptualization, and then you're going to kind of go into the models of treatment and specifically what you might do to intervene with this family with Anita. Um, so you can utilize some of the articles from this week, or in addition, you could even go back to some of the things that you learned about neurobiology earlier in the course. That post will be due on Thursday at 11:59 p.m. And then response posts, you will be required to respond to one classmate and provide some feedback, maybe some similarities or differences that you had with your initial post, and maybe some things that you might add to their learning. That post is due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And as usual, make sure that you provide citations. This is definitely a post that will require you to access some of the readings in the articles. So for your second post for week 7, you will be focusing on death and dying. This is a little different than what you had done in previous discussions. I hope you enjoy it. Basically, you're going to be pretending you're writing a letter to an MSW student who is just beginning their field placement, and they're going to be working with death and dying. So you're going to include the following in your letter, just kind of educating that MSW student about issues surrounding death and dying, some treatment methods, and maybe providing a resource that they could look at. So it can be a resource that you find with outside materials, but you can also use some in-class material as well. I would say it might be helpful for you to even look at some things from outside material just to further your learning as well. So then that post is due by Thursday at 11:59 p.m. And then your response post, you're just gonna, as usual, provide some constructive feedback to your classmate and, maybe some different things that you might add to it. Whether or not you feel like it would be useful information or not, some similarities or differences to your initial post, and that post is due by Sunday at 11:59 p.m. The other thing I wanted to mention is to please fill out the evaluation for the course. It would be very helpful for me as your instructor in moving forward, as well as for the program itself to get some of that feedback and to just better the learning experience for all of you. And in addition to that, being that this is week 7, the last week of the course, I just wanted to remind you that all work must be completed by the last day of the course, which is on Sunday. If the work is not completed by then, you're free to discuss the option of an incomplete with me, but I'm hoping all of you will be able to make that deadline. I just wanted to be clear about that as well. So yeah, I think I really enjoyed having you all in this course, and I look forward to Social Work 639, as I'm sure I will have most of you, if not all of you, for that course. So I hope everyone has a good night, and I'll look forward to reading your discussions for week 7.